there was what Caitlin Clark did on her big day. She was surprised by the Fever organization after a workout with a birthday serenade and the like, but it was the video that they shared of her workout that blew up everywhere, and that's because Caitlin Clark was knocking down threes. 50 of 54, according to the team on the post.
Did you catch what Caitlin Clark just pulled off? On her birthday, she didn't just practice her three-pointers. She completely redefined what's possible, sinking 50 out of 54 attempts. That's no mistake, 93% accuracy from beyond the arc. You might think it's just practice, but here's the kicker. Clark isn't just a flash in the pan. After an impressive rookie season where she averaged 19 points and 9 assists, she's now poised to dominate the WNBA. Stay with us, because we're about to dive into how this could shape up to be the greatest point guard season we've ever witnessed.
Sure, look, either way, Caitlin Clark's going to be better than last year. Touch wood, barring injury, it's likely we see the greatest ever season for a point guard in WNBA history next season.
Remember when people were doubting Caitlin Clark last season? Well, what happened next is unbelievable. Let's rewind to her rookie year in the WNBA. Expectations were through the roof, the pressure was on, and things didn't go exactly as everyone had hoped. But here's where it gets fascinating. Clark's shooting percentages didn't quite match the stellar numbers we saw from her in college.
One aspect of Clark's game that I wouldn't say was bad, but her percentage at three wasn't as high as it was the year prior at Iowa. Now, that a lot of that can be from going from one season to the next, obviously adjusting to the WNBA defenses.
This is the same player who made three-pointers look effortless at Iowa. So, you might be wondering, does this mean the end of Clark's reputation as a sharpshooter? Not so fast. Her rookie season turned out to be a bit of a roller coaster ride. In the first 10 games, she had a tough time finding her groove. Her assist-to-turnover ratio was nearly 1-to-1, and her shooting percentages were inconsistent, even dropping below 30% at times. It was a challenging stretch, especially for fans who knew just how much potential she had.
We do forget that Caitlin Clark's numbers last season, she didn't have the greatest first 10 games. She wasn't bad in the first 10 games, but she had a near 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Her percentages were all over the place.
But here's the thing about Caitlin Clark. She's not one to shy away from a challenge. Despite a rocky start, she still managed to average 19 points and nearly 9 assists per game. Pretty impressive for a rookie, right? But Clark wasn't content with that. She knew she had more to offer. Now, fast forward to her latest practice session, and you're going to want to sit down for this. Clark hit 50 out of 54 three-pointers. No, that's not a mistake. We're talking a jaw-dropping 93% accuracy. Can you even imagine making 50 out of 54 threes? That's not just good, it's absolutely phenomenal.
It is silly how good of a shooter Caitlin Clark is. But to be fair, obviously, I think there are more players in the WNBA that can do this in a workout. I don't think this is, unique. Not that it's, 50-54 is crazy. That's 93% through 50, which is madness. That's a serious number. That is a serious number, and I'm not sure how long it would take any shooter in the WNBA to do that. But the fact that they're
So, now you're probably wondering how she made such a huge leap. Let's break it down. Clark has been putting in the work. No surprise there. Her development coach recently revealed some of the behind-the-scenes details. They've been focusing on adjusting her pace and fine-tuning her shooting mechanics. It's all about polishing that already incredible skill set. And here's the kicker. Clark's shooting coach isn't just aiming for decent. They're pushing for greatness. The goal is an 80% shooting average from beyond the arc in practice sessions. A massive jump from her rookie numbers. It's like Clark took those early struggles to heart and used them as fuel to elevate her game.
On her birthday, she steps in and she goes and shoots 93% from the three in a workout. Is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I was like,
you might be thinking, all right, Clark's killing it in practice, but can she bring that same intensity to the court when the game is on the line? Well, let's break down why her jaw-dropping 93% accuracy in practice isn't just impressive. It's a sign that something much bigger is on the horizon. First, let's talk about what it takes to be an elite shooter in basketball. Most pros would be thrilled to hit 80% of their shots in practice, but Clark, she just shattered that benchmark like it was no big deal. This isn't just a solid day at the gym. This is next level performance.
One thing is that she's practicing more a lot of corner threes. I can't remember the last time Caitlin Clark shot a corner three. Honestly, I can't remember. And it was funny, if you saw the home workout she used to do, the basketball court she used to shoot on didn't have corners. So it's like, that's why she never shoots the corner three. Because in the summer she doesn't practice the corner three. But
So, what's really happening when Clark is draining those threes? It's all about muscle memory, focus, and consistency, but here's where it gets truly fascinating. Clark isn't just practicing, she's essentially rewiring her brain for basketball. Every shot she takes is like a mini lesson for both her muscles and her mind. The more she repeats it, the more her body starts to memorize the movement, turning it into instinct. This level of dedication is what helps elevate her to another level.
and obviously, look, Caitlin Clark's one of the best shooters in the world of basketball. But like, it's silly. Like, for regular people, this is like absolutely absurd.
Now, you might be wondering, does this actually translate to real games? That's the million-dollar question, right? Well, here's the thing. Experts believe Clark's ability to shoot at such a high percentage in practice will absolutely carry over to her performance in games. It's not just about sinking shots in an empty gym. It's about developing muscle memory so strong that, when the pressure's on, her body instinctively knows what to do. That's the kind of preparation that separates the good from the great.
And now I'm just looking at Caitlin Clark shooting 93% on a higher amount of shots. That is ludicrous. Like, that is absolutely ludicrous. And just a random workout. Like, I can guarantee you she's probably had workouts better than that.
But let's be real for a second. We all know practice is one thing, and game day is a whole different beast. So, can Clark actually bring that insane accuracy to the court when it counts? That's where it gets even more exciting. It's not just about how many shots she's making in practice. It's about how she's making them. Have you seen Clark's shooting form? It's like watching a machine in motion. Every single shot is the same, flawless repetition. That's huge for developing muscle memory. And guess what? That's exactly what you need to stay calm and hit those crucial shots when the game is on the line.
And look, she's repeating that same motion every time. It looks exactly the same every time. There's no difference in any of these shots, right? It would look like you were seeing a replay. You're watching. And that's the most important thing with shooting. It's not about whether it goes in or not. It's about whether you are approaching it the same every time. You say let it fly, right? Like, you can miss 1,000 shots in a row. You got to shoot the next one when you're open. That's part of being a shooter.
So, what does all this mean for Clark's future? Well, if she can keep up this level of practice and bring it to game day, we could be looking at one of the most lethal shooters the WNBA has ever seen. We're talking about a player who could completely change the way teams have to defend against her. Imagine trying to guard someone who can sink a three from almost anywhere on the court. Defender's worst nightmare, right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, Clark's got an amazing shot, but what about the rest of her game? Well, let me ask you this. What if her shooting isn't even the scariest part of her skill set? Coaches are already calling her a complete floor general, and that's about to send shockwaves through the entire WNBA.
Workout from Caitlin Clark. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she does a lot more than shoot threes, but yeah, she also does that pretty well.
But it looks like her form is crisp and refined. And I think when you take into combination the fact that Clark is going to have fresh legs before next season, because she hasn't had that extended period of time off from basketball. I mean, who knows when the last time she did? Obviously, she had none this past year in her rookie year in the WNBA. So the fresh legs will be a factor.
The fact is that she's there. Like, in college, it was, I'm going for 70% shooting from three. Like, that's kind of the workouts. That's the number she's looking to hit. She's probably up that to 80 is deep. I'd say 80% is probably her average 3-point shooting workout, which is crazy. Like, the Caitlin Clark that's going to come in next year, like, you can see, just look at her right arm. Just look at her right arm compared to last year. Like, she's obviously still skinny, but like, there's literally Caitlin Clark Obviously, Amber Cox is there. Someone else is there giving her a birthday cake. But like, how many? It's like our coaches in front office. There are 4 individual coaches there for just Caitlin. Just Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and Caitlin Clark wins her first MVP. That's my prediction for next season. Is that Caitlin Clark wins the MVP, because surely there's got to be some voter fatigue on A'ja Wilson. With A'ja Wilson, there's got to be some voter fatigue, but you just never know. There might not be. There might not be when it comes to A'ja, because, well, she's A'ja Wilson.